Okay, so welcome back. This is part 10 of my personal messaging system tutorial series. And in the last video, we checked to make sure that the username that was entered by whoever's trying to send the message, make sure that we made sure that the username actually exists. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the page was not just refreshed to resend the message. So, so MySQL underscore query. So we're creating our classic query. And so we're going to say select all from messages, so our messages table, where, I guess we'll say content equals $, content, and 2 underscore ID equals $2 underscore ID, and from underscore ID equals $user ID, because that's the current user that's logged in. And last but not least, the and date equals $date. So go to the next line. So num rows again. And our query inside. So a lot of this is just repetition. So if $, num rows equals 0, which means the message has not been sent with this exact information. Scroll over some. Else echo you cannot resend the same message. Alright, so yeah. So inside of our num rows right here, inside of this if statement, what we need to actually do is this is where we're going to update our database, or not update our database, insert into our database. So MySQL underscore query, query. Oh, that's 2 E's right there. My mouse isn't working. Okay. So our query is going to be insert into, sorry, my eye itches, messages, and the values will be as follows. So, like before, we're putting in, for the most part, very similar information. So our very first one is our ID, which is auto-incremented. So yeah. The next one is our 2ID, 2 underscore ID. That should also be lowercase, or is it 2? Actually, I don't quite remember what it is. So we're going to go to our messages and structure. Okay, it's 2 user. So our 2 user, and then 2 ID, so 2 underscore user. And we have our 2 underscore ID, not if, ID, there we go. And the next one is our from user, so which is just the username, because that's the user that's logged in, is sending the message. And and then we have our user ID, and then we have our subject. And then we have our content, and there's an extra one there. So we have our content, so $content. And last but not least, once again, we have our date. So that actually inserts everything into the database. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to simply echo out message your message has been sent. Click here to view your inbox, I guess. Well, I guess it'd be more appropriate if we had an outbox folder, or a file rather, so we could just display the outbox. I guess that'd be a little bit more appropriate, but anyway, inbox.php. Alright, so we're sending the message now. Let's test this out. So we're going to refresh the page. So actually, what I forgot to do, maybe you did or didn't, our $form, so our form variable, we need to put this at the end of each of these if statements, or these error statements, error messages. So what that's going to do is it's actually going to display the form every time something happens that shouldn't happen, like for all of these, all of our messages. It's just going to display the form, so just going to copy and paste it in, refresh. So we're going to send this to admin, and keep in mind that actually we'll just start off with a blank form. So we're just going to test out to make sure that our it's actually blanking out these values, so you're not filling the entire message form. So obviously that's working. So if we just type in 1 and click submit, we get the exact same thing. So our message is going to be test, that's going to be our title, and our message will be testing 1 2 3. So kind of a cliche, but oh well. Your message has been sent. Click here to view your inbox. So we click here, and you can also see our outbox. We have our test message right there, and testing 1 2 3. Our date has been set. So let's log out, back to our page, and log back in as admin. Admin right there, and the password right there. We've logged in, and we go to our inbox. We see we now have a message. No way! We have testing 1 2 3, and let's reply. Let's say this is also a test. If I can spell right, get rid of my dyslexia. Reply. Your reply has been sent. Click here to view your inbox. And our outbox is RE test. This is also a test. So let's log out once again. Log back in as basic Nick. Okay, so go to our inbox. So we have a message. So that successfully creates our message system. Now, there is only one thing we have to do, which really, if you wanted to, you don't even have to do it. But we're going to do it anyway. And that's our delete message. So we need to be able to delete messages. I mean, duh. So there are two things we're going to do before this video ends to get started on that, because I'm getting close to my time limits. So we're going to go to the inbox page, and we're going to scroll down, and we're going to find our checkbox. So our name, and we have our checkbox, and our ID. We also, if you want, you can just copy and paste that. We need to set the value of that to just the ID, and that's just going to make it a little bit simpler on us later. So that's going to set an ID for the checkbox. Now we're also going to copy and paste that. We're going to scroll down to our outbox, and we're going to paste it in. So what that's just going to do, it's just going to give this a value of the message ID. So we'll be able to actually delete the messages. We'll actually be able to delete the messages by going by that information. Yeah, that's it. In the next video, we will begin the delete message part of the series, if you will. Hopefully that should only take 1 or 2 videos, 3 tops. So yeah, so check out the next part of the series.